Hey everybody, welcome to What the Fact, a weekly show that looks at what's real and not online. I'm Aaron Shirachman.
And I'm Katie Sanders. We are editors with PolitiFact, a nonpartisan fact-checking website. We fact-check a lot of things, the president, Congress, but this week we are going to be giving you a handy guide to information and misinformation about the coronavirus that is driving a lot of concern about health around the world.
Yeah, this is obviously an important topic. There's a lot of people who are scared. We're seeing lots of travel plans being delayed. We're seeing talk about quarantine. Anytime there's a big kind of a crisis like this, a health crisis, there's a lot of fear, apprehension, but also a lot of misinformation. We're going to go through some claims that are spreading online that aren't true. But first, Newsy is going to walk you through what is true and why this coronavirus is something we should be concerned about.
Health officials around the world are rushing to contain the spread of a new coronavirus, but the World Health Organization is stopping short of calling it a pandemic. The first reports of the virus came from Wuhan, China on December 31st. In the following 5 weeks, the number of cases spiked to more than 20,000. Nearly all of the people infected are in China, but there are isolated cases in 24 other countries, including the U.S. The WHO declared the outbreak a public health emergency of international concern on January 30th. Basically, that declaration is a warning flag to countries around the world, advising them to be vigilant and to help stop the spread of the disease. The new coronavirus is also being called an epidemic, meaning there's an increased number of cases beyond what's expected or normal. The WHO says the virus hasn't reached the pandemic level, which would be the worldwide spread of a new disease. The last global pandemic was the H1N1 flu that started in 2009. It's unclear exactly how many people were infected or killed by that virus because not all the suspected cases were confirmed with laboratory tests. But the CDC estimates between 151,000 and 575,000 people died from the H1N1 virus worldwide. There are a lot of coronavirus strains, and symptoms can range from common cold symptoms to severe respiratory problems. The strain discovered in China is new, but it's largely contained to one country. Health officials are actively studying it to help improve early detection and potentially develop a vaccine.
So the coronavirus is obviously something we should pay attention to. The World Health Organization and other organizations like the Centers for Disease Control are obviously monitoring this. But sometimes online, I think people maybe take it a little too far. Maybe the conspiracy theorists or people trying to scare people on purpose go to extremes to maybe paint this disease as something, this virus, as something that maybe it isn't.
Yeah, and we have to stress that as fact checkers, we practice this every day, but we need you to be your own fact checker when you're using social media. Like Aaron said, there are a lot of people who are taking it upon themselves to piece kind of the more mysterious parts of how this virus started and how it spreads for themselves. But we are here to tell you that the conspiracy theorists out there are not to be trusted, and you need to be very careful about the sources you use. For example, this is an example of a bad post. This is one we saw on Facebook. It suggested that there was a patent in existence for the coronavirus before the one that came out of Wuhan, China was identified, and that there was also a corresponding vaccine. Now, of course, Aaron, we know there is no vaccine for this virus, so what's so wrong about this Facebook claim?
Yeah, well, first of all, this claim rates pants on fire. There was no patent for this strain of the coronavirus, and there is no vaccine, so that's the most important information you need to know. There was a series of images that were being shared online that suggested this patent. It was a patent related to another strain of coronavirus, one that actually produced what is called SARS, another type of virus or disease that you've seen come out of Asia. But this has nothing to do with the current strain. So researchers we talked to actually said this is a new strain of this type of virus. Coronavirus is like a classification of a type of virus that is in a very specific name. And so as a result, because it's new, there's obviously no patent or no kind of vaccine to kind of prevent it. So that's important information to have.
You can find on our website, politifact.com, a number of stories that will tell you what not to believe about the virus.
Well, for instance, like don't drink bleach.
And exactly. And favorite household products, Clorox,
no.
Lysol, they didn't also know about the coronavirus ahead of
Bill
time.
Gates hasn't been stocking vaccines or kind of planning this kind of as part of his global destruction. These are kind of the tropes that we hear time and time again. They're being repeated in this case. Stick to the sources you trust. And if you see something that looks a little sketchy, do a quick Google search to figure out what other trusted sources are saying about that same type of claim. It'll help you most of the time.
All right, well, that'll do it for this week. Until next time, I'm Katie, and this is Erin. Thanks so much.